and you're like, I'm going to send 2,000 blind offers, this targeted for these subdivides, your chances of failing are higher. You're putting all your eggs there. You're sending out 100,000, 200,000 texts a month, you're gonna get interested parties.
I just know the successful people are doing sales. Not high-level salespeople, but they're consistent with sales. They follow up, they nurture, and it's definitely a huge focus for people doing 7 figures.
When you're a small business in general, you can't have everyone hyper-focused in every area. That's why a lot of people say to hire an assistant first. They're like a pinball machine. They're going from bing, 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 all over to these little tasks. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today's topic, we're going to talk about the blueprint to making 7 figures a year. I'm your host, Andrew Apke. I'm with Ron Apke, my brother and business partner. I'm excited for this one, Ron. I think this topic is either maybe you're doing 100,000 a year right now and you want to accelerate it to $1 million. Maybe you're doing zero, but this is all things getting from $0 a year to $1 million.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily has to be from $0. Just like, what does a 12-month period look like in this business where you're making 7 figures?
I agree.
That's what I think we focus on, because a lot of people like look at when they're talking about making $1 million in a year or something, like, okay, let's start this in January. Like, okay, from right now, guys, if you're making $50,000, $0, like, what does the next 12 months look like for someone who is making 7 figures? There's so many people in our community in this business model making $1 million+ a year, flipping land, and like, what kind of things are they doing in their businesses? What are we doing in our business? And there's a lot of ways where you can mix and match things, but there are a lot of consistencies to kind of the blueprint to making 7 figures, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And it really sparked my mind with this topic today, because I talked to a lot of people when I'm doing calls on Land Portal, things like that. You talk to a lot of high-level people pulling millions and millions of records a year, and you hear the same things over and over again from these people, and you ask them about their business, and they give you numbers and insights, and you get on a good relation with them, Ron. And it was really interesting, some of the numbers I've been hearing of how big of businesses these guys have. So that's what really sparked it, because we're starting to pick up on all the trends, I feel like, as well.
They're high. A lot of them are really high volume, and they still, a lot of them you talk to me about it, like, a lot of them still have a lot of ways to grow too. Like, they can still, like, they can get to 8 figures in this business. Like,
for sure.
That's the coolest thing, is like, they still have flaws and like gaps in their business. They're always trying to improve, but they are extremely high volume, and they are marketing machines.
8 figures is very, very possible in this business.
100%.
Yeah. Where do you want to start with this?
Talking 7 figures. I think marketing's probably the place we start, Dan. I mean, you can go a lot of places. I think one thing is, like, I know I bring up mindset a lot with it, but it's a big change for a lot of people who are trying to make, you got to put a lot of money into this business. But I think it all does start with like what people think is possible, like in their head. Like, I think you have to have the right mindset for it. People who come in with a goal of doing one deal typically don't turn into 7-figure businesses, versus people with a goal of doing a $2 million business. Those are people that hit the goal of 7 figures.
Yeah, and someone I talked to today is like, it's very possible to have a $50 million business in this. And that
50
was
or 15?
50.
50.
Yeah, they're already at close to 15 or something like that. But they said 50 million in this business is very, very plausible. And it just is like their mindset. You know, if their goal is 50, they're going to get to 5 easily. You know what I mean? It's just like the mindset's going to get them so far, just because they're going to take the actions to get there.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are like, I'm trying to replace my income that's $70,000, and like, just it's fine as a starting point for sure, but like, what this business can do for you is unbelievable.
Yeah, and we're talking to the people who want to go from 0 to $1 million or 100 to $1 million or whatever that is. If you don't want to go to $1 million, it's still a great business model. You don't need to go to $1 million. It's more work, more effort, more action, more stress probably, but it's a lot more money. If you don't want to go to $1 million, you can still stay at 200. Whatever your goals are, that's fine. This is talking to people who really want to grow their land business.
Yeah, I think it starts with mindset, and then it goes to like marketing. And when we talk about marketing, like, what are you targeting? How much marketing are you sending? And I don't think there's any like what are the consistencies, Dan, with these people you're talking to in terms of their marketing? Is it a volume thing? Is it a targeting thing? I think you can mix and match marketing quite a bit. Some people do one marketing method, though. I don't want to get that twist. Like, you can do 7 figures and send text. You can do 7 figures and send direct mail and everything else.
Well, no, a lot of these people only do one.
100%.
A lot do two also. But no, a ton of these people, because I'm thinking of the enterprise. We have an enterprise plan on Land Portal. I'm thinking of those guys, right? Because they have unlimited data. They have all these big data plans. I see their all their information. So I know what they're doing volume-wise, and and I talk to their marketing strategy, and I see the consistencies there. A lot of them are only doing one. I don't have a percentage, but I'd bet it's over 75.
You think less people doing you think the simpler blueprint is high volume opposed to like being really targeted?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah, I think so. I think you have more operations then. I think you need more employees then, opposed to like if I was trying to go like theoretically, if you're trying to do 1 6-figure deal per month, essentially, like I think you can do that by yourself, honestly.
Yeah.
But some of these people who are doing multiple 7 figures, like it's such a high volume, multiple 100,000 texts per month. Like their operations are incredible. They understand, like everyone has roles within their company. They have employees and stuff. I think the more
Yeah. They're doing big deals too, though.
100% they fall. Not, but it's not a target. But yeah, for sure. I think volume is the biggest thing. To be honest with you, like you need to get a lot of marketing out.
When you get a lot of marketing out and you're talking about 100, 200,000 texts or cold, whatever it is, and you're getting a lot of marketing, your chance to fail is almost zero.
Oh, yeah.
When you're precise and you're like, I'm going to send 2,000 blind offers, this targeted for these subdivides, your chances of failing with just that are higher. You're putting all your eggs there. You're sending out 100,000, 200,000 texts a month. You're going to get interested parties. As long as you're cycling, that's sending out 100 to 200,000 texts is a lot to cycle through operationally. So it's going to be a bit, but as long as your operations need to be up to speed with your actions, I think.
Yeah, I think you need to know how many texts, how many pieces of marketing, whatever that is, gets a deal essentially. What does that look like? What does a normal deal look like? And then scale up from there. Like we're talking about 100, 200,000 texts per month. I don't think you need that to do 7 figures, guys. Like I think these are for mid 7-figure people, honestly, as for what you're talking about.
Yeah.
When you're talking about 200,000 texts a month, like you're going to get 25 deals per month.
Yeah, like these numbers are crazy because when we used to send blind offers, I remember when we first sent 20,000 and then 30 and up, and we kept upping our numbers, but there was nobody we talked to doing that type of volume for direct mail. You talk to these people texting, I know people who are sending 500,000 a month. You know what I mean? It's just the numbers are crazy. But I was thinking in my head, I always think like, what would I do if I started over right now and I had a budget like we do now?
High volume texting.
I would probably do high volume blind offers.
Really?
Like 20 to 50,000. You know, with a budget and just see what happens. You need one deal to break even on the marketing. But that's with the big budget, knowing this business like I do also. But I'm telling you, if you just imagine just sending 30 to 50,000 blind offers, you don't think you'll get to 7 figures?
No, 100%.
Easily.
Yeah.
But that's just with a big budget, not really with knowing the landscape.
Yeah, but going in, like backing up a few steps, like as far as the marketing aspect, guys, you need the volume to do 7 figures. Like you can't send 5 text messages out a day and be like, yeah, I'm going to do 7 figures. Like your marketing needs to match. Like there is a cost of acquisition, no matter what your channel is, no matter what like industry you're in. It doesn't matter if you're trying to get land or trying to do ads on Facebook or anything else. Like every industry, you're going to have a cost of acquisition, and you got to understand what that is for a deal. And then you just need to scale up to make the numbers work. Honestly, volume marketing is much more of a blueprint than like I agree. I'm trying to do $100,000 deals per year. That's much more.
So volume, the thing we see with 7-figure. So what we're saying right now is the most common trait action that we see with the 7-figure business, land investing business is
in terms of marketing is consistent with enough volume. Yeah, for sure. Volume.
We'll just say volume.
Volume of marketing.
That's what we see number one. Okay.
And those numbers can be, like I said, I think 50,000 texts can do it. I think 25 to 30,000 pieces of mail can do it. I'm not combining these. I'm saying by themselves. 30,000 mailers can do it. Cold calls, I don't know the numbers well enough to be honest with you in terms of that. But yeah, as far as texting and direct mail, like I think 50,000 can do it, and I do think 30,000 mailers could do it.
30,000 mailers?
A month.
So what's that saying? Like, what are you predicting if you get send 30,000 mailers right now?
I think I'd get eight deals per month, 20,000 each, $160,000, 1.8 million. If my math's right.
Okay, and that's just with standard sending from like 2 to infinity.
For sure.
Got it.
You have some bigger deals in there. It might average more than 20. It might average 40, 35, and it might be 2.1, 2.2 million. But yeah, 30,000 mailers a month. I think you'll be in the 1.5 to 2 million.
Got it.
Gross.
Okay, so we got marketing down, and this is a blueprint to get to 7 figures. So your volume is everything, and we're probably one thing I also want is like why the volume's so important is because these are your leads coming in, right? I don't think we talked about why the volume's so significant, Ron, is like you need a way to contact landowners, Ron. It's just like Facebook marketing for business owners. It's you send it out, you get the impressions, and you get the leads coming in. That's why it's so important. It's always going to be no matter what happens to this industry, is always going to be the number one driving force, I think. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. Like any business, like how much money you put into ads, like you got to put it in the right spot. But yeah, this is our advertising.
And you can get some organic, and you can have different methods and whatever. But this is our advertising. Yeah. So what do you think we get into next? So we have top of funnel marketing. We got into what's next?
I think operations becomes really like, I know you talked to a lot of people at Land Portal in terms of like their operations, their staff, stuff like that. We don't see, and I always think like, okay, could I do this by myself if I wanted to build a 7-figure business? Like no one else is included. Like I'm just doing this myself. Like, yeah, I would be very, I'd do things a very certain way. I think with it, I wouldn't do 30,000 mailers. I would do things much more precise. If I just like, okay, it can only be me. The rule is I can't hire anybody. But these people that you're talking to at scale, like what does it look like? They have operations. They have overseas people that are doing, I don't want to say high level things, but texting. Like you need people.
You do need people.
You need people in operations, I think.
Everyone I talk to with Land Investing Online, and yeah, they have a team, just about everyone. And you got to see like, okay, we just talked about volume for marketing. Now what's happening when those people are coming in? That's where we can start with operations. So you get a lead that comes in, what happens next, right? If you're texting, you got to respond to the text. You got to qualify the lead. You got to do all these things. Those processes, when you get to this level of 7 figures and up, become very, very important because leads are going to slip through. People aren't going to get responded to. Appointments aren't going to be set. Deals aren't going to be closed, right? So it becomes more and more important because you're going to get more volume of them. So if they slip through the cracks, you're going to have a bottleneck, and you're going to be getting less deals.
Yeah. 100% people in operations. I think I don't think some people try to go overboard with operations and automations and all these different things. Like have your operations simple at first. People, I think, is more important in terms of like, you got to make sure they understand what they're doing and stuff. But some people try to get so automated with their operations and overdo it CRM wise. Start simple and then build on top of it.
Yeah, and like you can build a very automated and efficient, effective machine, but it takes time. Like start with one simple thing. And the thing you guys would notice is the better employee you have, the less like automations and systems you need also. You know what I mean? Because they just figure it out and do it and have their own systems. And you want to do both, ideally. But as you guys are new, if you hire really, really good people, they'll be able to handle those leaky buckets and bad systems you have, and you won't even notice it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Or they'll give you insights like this is something we could work on, or like this is something that could save me time. Like it happens all the time in our businesses with just really high level employees, like giving insight on certain things. Not that they're trying to like, it's just things that are repetitive in their day that maybe that can be automated. But that being said, like don't overdo operations, automations from your start. You want good people around you, especially handling your marketing. Like who is handling your marketing? Things, leaky buckets, like in marketing or in our lead management is a huge issue if you have the wrong people like handling text messages and stuff.
Ever wondered how land investing can be the fastest path to financial freedom? I break it all down in my new book, One Lot at a Time. I'll show you exactly how to find, buy, and flip land for huge profits without dealing with houses, tenants, or any crazy renovations. It's simple. This is the book that I wish I had when I first started. If you're ready to take control of your financial future, grab a copy now. One Lot at a Time by Daniel Apke. Find it at your local bookstore or on Amazon.com. Yeah, and if you're between 0 to 100,000 now, first person to hire, I think we should give a little value there because you don't want to hire all these people. Maybe do the acquisitions yourself right now. Like plan for getting acquisition specialists back then. And I still personally believe in, for roles like this, hiring Americans. Like acquisitions, transactions, like you can get, your money goes a far way when you hire Americans. It's obviously more expensive, but let's just talk about for your first employees. Let's say you're at $100,000 and you're going to $1 million. What do you think you hire first?
If you're texting, I think someone to manage text messages. Like I think it's a very defined role. And we always talk about roles like, okay, so defined roles or something every day. It's not just random tasks every day. Like being that lead manager on the text messaging side, just like that first person, that first
Because that's probably
response.
taking most of your time right now.
100%. Yeah, if you're sending
text.
if you're sending 50,000 a month, that's 15 that's 1700 a day or so. Like that's
So
a
that's
lot.
managing inbound leads almost, right?
Yeah, not trying to sell them. Like you can use the Land Portal Estimate, and they can use tools to help negotiate and kind of. I was talking to someone today about it, and like just like having the importance of leads based on what they're asking for, and like using different tools, Land Portal Estimate, based on like, okay, this person's really hot. They're asking for 40% of what our Land Portal Estimate is, and like that's a higher, like let's get them on the phone fast. But yeah, setting appointments essentially for you, I think.
Okay. And if you're not texting? Just an all-around
So
assistant?
if we're doing 30,000 mailers, yeah, then it's like an executive assistant type
or
of
cold
person,
call.
maybe.
What about cold call? Cold call, you have leads coming in. What do you do with those leads? So you got 20
You have
a
leads
day.
coming in
Or
that
not 20, 10 a day.
unknown qualification, I guess, kind of with the leads coming in for cold calling, from what I hear. Like the qualification isn't as clear in cold calling leads.
No, you get the notes. Kind of like direct mail. Like
Yeah.
you'll get what they own, the questions.
I don't know. What do
they
you think for
answered.
the VA if you're not texting? I don't think a VA is like mail is expensive. Like if we're talking about 30,000 mailers versus 50,000 texts, we're talking about
20 grand.
$4,000, $2,000, $2,500 per month for texting versus 20 grand for mail. Like mail is gonna like you could theoretically do 30,000 mailers yourself. It's difficult.
2,000 a month for texting?
50,000 mail. It gets expensive. Texting gets expensive with 50,000. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't either right now. That's a good question. Okay.
But you're 10 times the spend on your mail essentially.
Yeah. At first, I'd handle an all-around person who can just do some emails, upload my mail, maybe even review markets and give me some data on a spreadsheet, reply to emails, set up you want a really versatile employee. When you're a small business in general, you can't have everyone hyper-focused in every area because that means you're going to be that's why a lot of people say to hire an assistant first, an executive assistant, a virtual assistant, an American assistant, whatever you want, because they're like a pinball machine. They're going from bing, 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 all over to these little tasks. And then that leaves you with the high value stuff. So if you give it to someone who can take off the emails from you, all this different stuff that's taking up all your time, it gives you the ability. Now I can go look at my markets more. I can look at subdividing opportunities. I can put all this energy into high value spots. So that's what I would do, especially with mail, because you don't need a transaction coordinator at first necessarily. Someone who can do a lot.
Yeah. No, I completely understand with that. Yeah. I mean, if you're texting, I think you could have maybe 2 people at first because you do have a lot more money to spend, I think, if you have marketing money to spend. But yes, you're right as far as like and that was our first employee with when we were first flipping land, was someone who could really do everything, and he still does so many things in so many different spots for us.
You need employees like that.
And they're managing CRM or like just like they keep shit organized really, really well.
We call them like a what's the title?
Customer support specialist.
Yeah, customer support specialist, but it's really a all-around machine.
Yeah. And there's people like they are valuable.
Because you got to think at first, it's just like Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell and all these other. Like, you want to outsource, it's very basic stuff, guys. You want to outsource the least value things first, right? Emails, responding to this, uploading stuff, exporting data, scrubbing data. You know, when you're looking in this business, all the low value stuff you get rid of first. You don't want to go and be like, I want to outsource my sales.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing here. You're going to outsource the most important thing that you can do better probably?
Yeah.
No, you don't want to do that. Start small, free up your time to focus on the sales, to focus on all these other areas.
Yeah, that's a good point. So right now, Dan, we talked a little bit about mindset. Like you got to have the mindset to make 7 figures. We talked about marketing volume pretty much. Like you need to send enough marketing to make 7 figures. Like you can't just make something up out of nowhere and send a couple texts, a couple pieces of mail. Like you got to have the volume of marketing. And then we just talked about operations and people essentially, like having the right people in the right spots, or like having those all around people. Is there anything else, like Dan? We're talking blueprint to 7 figures.
I think sales, like I know we talked about it a little bit in ops and the operations, but sales in general.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think having time for the sales, I think treating sales like it's your lifeblood. I think like it's how you make more deals.
Just
like
nurturing leads.
Yeah.
Like a lead comes in. I know we talked about operations-wise what happens, but attacking the lead, calling these leads back right away, building rapport with them and the ability to close deals is extremely crucial in seven-figure businesses. And that can take you from 1 million to 2 million just with a good sales ability.
Yeah, I need to get more into people's business and kind of see like exactly what they're doing with sales. It's interesting to because like they have systems and like I just know the successful people are doing sales and like are not high level salespeople, but they're consistent with sales. They follow up, they nurture, they're problem solvers for the leads, a lot of different things, and it's definitely a huge focus for people doing seven figures.
And then eventually, like a guy I talked to today, he's got a bunch of acquisition specialists, but he was doing it for a long time, and then he hired acquisition specialists to come in and do it and really scale up, and you can for sure get there. But when you outsource something, you should always try this thing before and understand it to a deep level, so then you can manage it and grow it.
Mm-hmm. No, I like that a lot. Anything else that there's one more thing that I wanted to say is I think big deals have to be a part of your business. Like I don't think they have to be. I don't want to say, but everyone we talk to, like 10% of their deals are six figures, you know? Like it's not like every deal, but they're doing minor subdivides. They're trying to make more money on deals. Like they're not just like, okay, gonna flip this deal because it looks like a flip. It works as a flip. They're trying to make more money. They're trying to maximize their money on deals.
Let's put it this way. If you asked all the seven-figure business owners we know for land investors, if you asked them, have you done a six-figure deal in the last 12 months, do you think any of them would say no?
I don't think so.
Probably not. Yeah. They've all done six-figure deals, which means it's extremely crucial to scale because it just ups your volume so much so fast. Like you're trying to get to $1 million, you do a $150,000 profit deal, like you're 15% there. You know, it just takes a big bite out of that.
To me, it seems like seven figures is on like $1 million to 1.2, 1.3 seems low in terms of like what we're talking about. It's like I feel like the bucket of people is like 1.5 million plus. Honestly, like a lot of these things, like it's not that hard to get to seven figures. And we're talking about because a lot of people we're talking about that are doing seven figures. It's like they're doing 1.5, 1.7, 2.5, and it's just like if you're doing all these things, guys, you could probably do 80, whatever. We talked about 5 things here. If you did 4 of the things really well, you're probably going to be doing seven figures. But these are the consistent things we're seeing from people, and this can get you much past $1 million. Like seven figures is $1 million to 9,999, whatever.
Yeah, this is stuff that goes just scaling in general.
100%.
Past seven figures, yeah.
But yeah, doing bigger deals to close it out, guys. Doing bigger deals is definitely something, and it's not like you're targeting. Like it's not like I'm only. But when bigger deals come about, or you're finding solutions for sellers, whatever it is. Some people do. They send mail 1 acre plus, and then they get a $500,000 property back, and they're double closing, buying for 500,000, selling for 650 or something like that. Like having those opportunities come up and taking advantage of them when sellers are somewhat interested, even if they're asking for way too much money. I think it's really important. Anything else, Dan?
No. So the only things we went over marketing, operations, mindset, sales, and doing bigger deals. Only thing I would add is if you're going from 7 figures to 8 figures right now and you're listening to this, I'd probably put in funding in that category because that becomes your biggest bottleneck at some point. So that's going to be added in there, but that's all I really have. This was a great episode.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you guys are watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button below. Let us know in the comments what you think about these 5 things you should be doing, or really the blueprint for doing 7 figures. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time.